Okay, so get this.
Mhm.
Some Chinese engineers have been training AI using, like, NVIDIA's latest gaming GPUs,
Oh, wow.
those RTX 4090s.
Really?
Yeah, pretty wild, right? It's like a super creative workaround to the whole U.S. ban on selling those advanced chips to China.
Huh, that's interesting.
It really makes you wonder if those sanctions are actually working the way they were supposed to, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's kind of what we're diving into today. We're doing a deep dive into this whole thing. Did the U.S. kind of accidentally give China's AI industry a boost? We've got a fascinating perspective from this podcast with Michael Kessler.
Okay.
He's the CEO of sliQue Robotics,
Right.
and he's got a pretty pro-China take on things. So
Interesting.
let's see what we can uncover, together.
Yeah, definitely. Sales was a good one.
It's wild, right?
Yeah.
The U.S. was like, okay, we're going to limit China's access to all those high-end AI chips, thinking it would slow them down,
Yeah.
But then Huawei comes out with the Mate 60 Pro, powered by that Kirin 9000's chip,
Yeah, their own.
made right there in China.
Exactly. And it's a 7-nanometer process.
That's a big deal.
It is, especially because they did it without that, really sophisticated equipment.
Right, the kind Western chip makers use. So
Exactly.
can you break that down a little? Like, what's so special about the 7-nanometer process?
Okay, so basically, it's about the transistors on the chip.
Okay.
The smaller they are, the more you can pack onto a single chip,
Right.
which means like better performance
Mm-hmm.
and it uses less energy.
Gotcha.
So getting to 7 nanometers,
Yeah.
that's a real sign of how advanced their chip making is.
So they're catching up.
Oh, yeah. SMIC, China's Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation, is making huge strides.
Wow, even with all the restrictions.
Yep, exactly.
So could this whole push for self-reliance actually be a good thing for China's tech industry?
It very well could be. It might be pushing them to be more innovative,
Right.
less reliant on foreign tech, and it's not just SMIC.
Okay.
You've got other companies popping up too, like Burin Technology.
What are they doing?
They're designing AI chips that can actually compete with the big guys, like NVIDIA.
Seriously?
Yeah, their processing power's right up there.
So maybe this ban kind of backfired?
It's possible, yes.
Like it's fueled their ambition instead of holding them back?
I think that's definitely a perspective worth thinking about.
Yeah.
By trying to, contain China's AI development.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. might have accidentally given them that extra push.
Wow.
Like a classic example of restrictions backfiring.
Huh, interesting. And it's not just about the chips themselves,
Right.
This is impacting the money side of things, too.
Absolutely.
Like companies like NVIDIA,
Yeah.
they were aiming to, dominate the whole AI chip market.
Right.
Now they're losing tons of money because they can't sell their best stuff to China.
It's a huge hit.
To get around the sanctions,
Wow.
NVIDIA had to make those less powerful chips.
Yeah, the A800 and H800. Not quite the same.
And it's not just NVIDIA, right?
Nope. AMD and Intel.
The other big players.
Exactly. They're facing limitations too.
They can't fully tap into that Chinese market.
It's a lucrative market.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy?
What?
Even companies outside the U.S. are getting caught up in this.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I thought these restrictions were specifically for Chinese companies.
Well, yeah, they are, but it's a global thing,
Okay.
Like you've got TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company,
Right, one of the biggest.
and ASML, they supply the equipment to make the chips.
Yeah.
They all use U.S. technology somewhere in their process.
Oh, I see.
So they have to follow those export rules, too.
So even though it's aimed at China,
Hmm.
the whole global semiconductor industry feels the impact.
It's a tangled web, that's for sure.
It really is. But let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
How is China responding to all of this?
Yeah.
They seem pretty adaptable, wouldn't you say?
What,
Like they're not just sitting back.
Nope, not at all.
They're actively trying to overcome these limitations.
Right.
Like you've got those big tech giants, Alibaba, Baidu, Tencent.
Yeah,
They stockpiled high-end chips before the ban even hit.
pretty smart move.
Yeah, like they saw it coming.
Definitely anticipated the disruption.
But, stockpiles don't last forever.
That's true.
So how are they handling the need for those advanced chips now?
Well, besides boosting their own production, they've been using the gray market.
The gray market.
Yeah, it's kind of like an unofficial way to get those restricted chips,
Oh, interesting.
often through Southeast Asia or the Middle East.
So they're finding ways around it,
Yeah, it costs more, but
but they're getting it done.
shows how determined they are to stay ahead in AI,
Yeah, it makes sense. AI is becoming crucial everywhere.
for sure.
And then there's that story about the engineers using gaming GPUs.
Oh yeah, that one's wild.
Can you tell me more about that?
So they're taking those NVIDIA RTX 4090 GPUs.
The ones for gaming.
Yeah, the high-end ones.
Wow.
And they're using them to train their AI models.
That's incredible.
Pretty ingenious, right?
They're finding ways to use what's available to them.
Exactly.
And it's working.
It seems to be.
It's amazing how resourceful they are.
Resourceful and technically skilled.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder,
Right.
did the U.S. accidentally create a situation that'll benefit China in the long run?
That's a good question.
Like, by restricting access, they push them to find even more creative solutions.
Yeah, like turning a hurdle into a springboard.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's a perspective worth considering.
Yeah, for sure.
The U.S. wanted to stay ahead in AI,
Right.
but reality's showing us things are a lot more complicated.
So are we seeing the beginning of a power shift in AI? What does this mean for the U.S. long term?
That's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
It really is. This whole global AI landscape, it's constantly changing.
Yeah.
But this whole thing with the U.S. trying to, control China's AI, it brings up these big questions
Yeah.
about, global power,
Right, like who's going to be on top?
Exactly. And what does it mean for innovation in the future?
It makes you wonder, what if the U.S. hadn't done anything? Would China's AI industry be where it is today?
It's hard to say for sure, but maybe these restrictions actually helped China.
How so?
Well, it's pushed them to be more self-reliant,
Right.
Like they're pouring money into their own semiconductor industry, building new research labs,
Wow.
and they're developing their own AI talent.
So it's kind of like a silver lining.
In a way, yeah.
But are there any downsides to this, rapid push for self-sufficiency?
Well, there are always challenges when you're trying to develop complex technologies so quickly.
Right.
China's doing great with the hardware, but they might hit a snag with the software side of things.
Oh, interesting.
Like building that whole software ecosystem to support AI.
Okay.
That takes more than just technical skills.
What else?
You need that culture of open source collaboration.
Right, where everyone shares and works together.
Exactly. And you need talent from all over the world.
So even with the hardware, they still need that global network.
Yeah, it's not just about the chips themselves.
Right, it's the whole ecosystem.
And speaking of global implications,
Yeah.
it's not just the U.S. and China in this game.
Right, it's a whole global thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it puts a lot of other countries in a tough spot.
How so?
They want to stay friends with both the U.S. and China,
Makes sense.
but they also want to be part of the AI revolution.
Yeah, everyone wants a piece of the pie.
Exactly. So it's a balancing act for them.
So could this lead to a more divided AI world?
It's possible.
Like some countries siding with the U.S., others with China?
Yeah, we might see that.
Interesting.
Some might stick with the U.S. because of existing ties. Others might lean towards China because of their tech and economic opportunities.
And then some might try to go it alone.
Exactly, trying to carve out their own space in the AI landscape.
It's like a whole new era of competition, with AI at the center of it all.
It reminds me of the space race back in the day.
Oh, yeah, I see the comparison.
Just like the space race pushed advancements in rocketry and materials, this AI competition is driving innovation everywhere.
In so many fields.
Yeah, computer vision, natural language processing, robotics, even quantum computing.
It's amazing how fast it's all moving.
It is, but with all these advancements,
Yeah.
we can't forget about the ethical side of things.
Right. That's crucial.
As AI gets more powerful, more widespread, we have to make sure it's being developed responsibly.
So how do we do that?
We need clear guidelines, frameworks for AI development,
Okay.
focused on transparency, accountability, fairness, privacy.
So it's not just about the technology itself.
No, it's about the values behind it.
And it's a global conversation, right?
Absolutely. It's not just for the tech people and politicians.
It involves everyone.
Yeah. Ethicists, social scientists, the public, everyone.
It's a shared responsibility to make sure AI benefits humanity. We need to be proactive, address potential biases.
Prevent discrimination, protect individual rights.
It's a big task.
It is, but it's crucial.
As this technology keeps evolving,
The decisions we make now will have a huge impact.
yeah, shaping the future of AI for generations to come.
We've talked about the economics, the geopolitics, but before we wrap up, I'm curious about your take on the future of AI.
Okay.
Where do you see it heading in the next 5–10 years?
It's hard to say for sure,
I know, it's always tough to predict the future of tech,
especially with how fast AI is advancing.
but I think we can expect some major breakthroughs.
Like what?
Well, think personalized medicine,
okay.
AI could help diagnose and treat diseases
Wow.
much faster, more accurately than we can now.
That would be amazing.
And education, too.
How so?
Imagine AI tutors
Okay.
providing personalized learning for each student.
Tailored to their needs and learning styles.
Like
So
exactly.
it sounds like AI is going to be everywhere.
It probably will be.
Automating tasks, enhancing our abilities in ways we haven't even thought of yet.
Precisely.
But that brings us back to those ethical concerns.
You're right. We can't forget about those.
As AI becomes more integrated into our lives,
We need to think about the impact on jobs, privacy, social equity.
it's a lot to consider.
It is, but it's important.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
The chip ban, the economics, the geopolitics, the ethics of AI.
It's a complex issue with a lot of layers.
But we've only just scratched the surface.
That's true.
Now, let's hear what sliQue Robotics has to say about all this.
Yeah, they're right in the middle of this evolving AI landscape.
So where does sliQue Robotics fit into all of this?
Well, their CEO, Michael Kessler, seems pretty optimistic about China's progress in AI.
Yeah, he's got that pro-China perspective, right?
Exactly. And from his podcast, it sounds like he sees this whole situation as a chance for collaboration,
Oh, interesting.
like a chance to work within China's growing AI ecosystem.
So instead of seeing the restrictions as a roadblock,
He sees them as like a starting point for something new.
that's a different way to look at it.
Yeah, he thinks it'll lead to a wave of innovation,
And new partnerships.
especially in areas like robotics and automation.
Does he mention any specific areas for collaboration?
He's particularly excited about robotics.
Makes sense, given what sliQue does.
Yeah, he thinks Chinese companies have a huge opportunity there.
To develop, like, cutting-edge hardware and software.
Exactly. And he thinks that as China's AI ecosystem grows, we'll see all these new applications, new industries even.
Stuff we can't even imagine yet.
Right. It's pretty exciting.
It's a bold prediction, though.
Yeah.
Especially with the challenges they still face.
He acknowledges that for sure.
Does he talk about any potential downsides?
He does. He says attracting top talent is key,
Okay.
not just from China, but globally.
Right, they need the best minds.
And he stresses the importance of investing in research and development.
So they don't fall behind.
Exactly. It needs to be sustainable, leading to real breakthroughs.
Not just small improvements.
Right. It's got to be groundbreaking stuff.
So he's got a pretty balanced view, it seems.
Yeah, he gets that true leadership in AI takes more than just technical skills.
It's about building that whole ecosystem.
That can attract talent, nurture those innovative ideas.
And he thinks China can do it.
He does. He believes they can be a major hub for AI innovation.
Not just for themselves.
Right, but by working with the global community.
Forming those partnerships that benefit everyone.
Exactly. It's a win-win.
It's a refreshing perspective, especially from someone in the thick of it.
Yeah, he's not afraid of the uncertainty. He sees it as an opportunity
A chance for growth and collaboration.
instead of seeing it as a threat.
I think that's a key takeaway from all of this.
Yeah.
The future of AI is still up in the air.
There are challenges, definitely.
But there's also so much potential.
For innovation, for progress,
We've really explored a lot today.
we have from geopolitics to technology to global ambitions.
And we've seen how trying to control technology can backfire.
Sometimes even speeding up the progress you're trying to stop.
And this whole situation is changing the global AI landscape.
Creating new opportunities, new challenges for everyone.
The U.S. might have wanted to stay on top.
But China's response to the chip ban shows they're not backing down.
They're determined to become a major player in AI.
And it's a story that's still being written.
It'll be interesting to see what happens next.
Yeah, who will come out on top?
What new innovations will we see?
And how will we handle the ethical side of all this?
As AI gets more and more powerful.
Those are the big questions.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we leave you with this. What role will you play in the future of AI? What opportunities and challenges do you see?
It's something to think about.
How can we make sure AI is used for good?
That's the big challenge.
Keep asking questions, keep learning, and stay engaged.
That's how we navigate this complex world.
And make sure AI benefits us all.
That's it. That's the goal.
And that's a wrap on this episode of The Deep Dive.
Until next time.
Stay curious.